as fun to direct a scene like that as it is to watch it?
It was a hard one, yeah, because we cooled down the sets so more freezing temperatures. So it's quite a sickly set for the crew and all. I can't say it was fun. Although there were lots of moments I enjoyed. Like I'll never forget Michelle Pfeiffer putting a live bird in her mouth and holding it there for like 20 seconds and then letting it fly out. That was very impressive. Very impressed. Actually, of any actor I've ever worked with, I think that's been the most impressive.
Now, as you were saying, your monsters are sympathetic. I even find that the penguin sympathetic.
Yeah, he's sweet.
Crazed, but sympathetic. This is certainly true of Edward Scissorhands, who's in many ways really a recasting of Frankenstein in a lot of ways. And in that movie, you really do care about Edward, and he's almost this tragic romantic figure.
Yeah, well, I cared about him, yeah. Because, I mean, that came from a lot of feelings I had as a teenager. So that was probably the film that maybe has the most sort of personal feelings in it for me, in the sense of it being a very kind of traumatic time in your life. And so that character was a symbol of all those feelings.
And it's a remarkable performance by Johnny Depp as Edward, almost wordless for much of the film. How do you develop a character like that with an actor like that?
Well, when I met him, I realized he was very much like the character in the sense that he was in this very popular teen show, Jump Street.
21 Jump Street.
Yeah, which I think he really hated doing. So, and he was perceived as this sort of teen idol, but, you meet him and you realize, well, he is not that at all. So I could see he could really get the vibe of what the character was, because that was kind of what he was experiencing as a person himself. So I knew that he would be. And also, he looks like a silent movie character, and since the character doesn't speak much, that was an important element, the soul coming through, that was important to the character.
And one of the most iconic parts of Edward Scissorhands is the town itself. It's very much a character in the story. Where did that come from, this pastel-colored suburbia?
I don't know. Housing tract in Florida. It reminded me of kind of the area that I grew up in, Burbank. I mean, it wasn't quite as sparse as that, but close to that. And that kind of sense, that kind of angry villager aspect to the neighbors. It was very accurate. I remember that in my own neighborhood. Not torches and things, but flashlights and the equivalent of the angry villagers. So that it had a lot of personal things in it for me.
Let's take a look at a clip from Edward Scissorhands.